Sikh leader, and he publicly campaigned for a separate homeland for Sikhs in the Punjab region of India. Now, that's the reason why India had issues with him, with everyone who's a part of this movement called as the Khalistan movement, which is campaigning for the separate homeland. India sees it as a challenge to its territorial integrity and its sovereignty. This has been one of the big reasons why ties between Canada and India have been strained.
A cargo ship loaded with grain has set off from the Ukrainian Black Sea port of Chornomorsk for the first time since a safe passage deal with Russia collapsed. The ship, named Resilient Africa, is carrying 3,000 tonnes of wheat. James Waterhouse has the details.
It's important to make clear that this is not the grain deal of old. This is the second time a vessel has attempted a route through the Black Sea, which was declared by Ukraine and Ukraine alone. It has no means of policing or enforcing this route because of Russia's naval dominance in this area, and crucially it doesn't have any agreement from Moscow at this stage. The Kremlin's been long frustrated with its own inability to export its own agricultural products because of existing sanctions.
The United States Defense Secretary has said Ukraine will receive M1 Abrams tanks soon. Lloyd Austin was speaking at the Ramstein military base in Germany, where representatives from more than 50 countries are gathering to discuss the conflict. Mr. Austin said the tanks were part of a wide package of military assistance.
Since our last meeting, the United States has committed additional security assistance packages totaling more than $2 billion. Those packages include urgently needed air defense, ammunition, and mine-clearing equipment. And we'll continue to work closely with our Ukrainian partners to ensure that all assistance is used effectively and safeguarded.
The trial is starting in Switzerland of a former member of Belarus's security forces charged with the forced disappearance of 3 opposition activists in 1999. It's taking place in Sankt Gallen, where Yuri Gorovsky has been living since fleeing Belarus. He was arrested after giving an interview to German media, in which he said he was part of a special forces unit which abducted and assassinated political rivals of the Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko. BBC News. For the first time since fighting erupted in April between rival Sudanese military factions, there have been clashes in Port Sudan. Soldiers exchanged fire with members of a tribal militia called the Forces of the Eastern Sudan Parties and Movements Alliance. The group had set up checkpoints. Elon Musk has suggested that all users of the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, may have to pay to use the service. The billionaire made the remarks at an event in California where he appeared in conversation with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Musk argued that a payment system was the only way to counter bots or automated accounts. It's not clear whether Mr. Musk was making an off-the-cuff statement. YouTube has announced that the British actor and comedian Russell Brand will not be able to make money from his videos on the platform while he faces allegations of rape, sexual assault and emotional abuse. Mr. Brand has denied all the accusations. Vincent McAviney reports.
Whilst Russell Brand may have disappeared over the years from traditional media, he has built a huge social media following. Across the likes of Instagram, Twitter and YouTube, he has millions of followers. And on his YouTube in particular, he has over 6 million subscribers for his near daily videos. They have adverts at the beginning and the end from which Russell Brand gets a cut of the money. This is called YouTube monetization. But this morning, Google, which owns YouTube, has put out a statement saying, "We have suspended monetization on Russell Brand's channel for violating our creator responsibility policy."
More than 70 crocodiles, which escaped from a Chinese farm a week ago, have now been recaptured. The authorities in the southern city of Maoming began the search after the reptiles took advantage of typhoon floods to flee from the farm. Crocodiles are bred in China for their skin and meat. World News from the BBC.
Let's go.
The list that we had over the summer, there were only about 20 schools that had a hybrid arrangement, so a mixture of face-to-face and remote. That's now gone up to 23, so that's actually increased. But the number of schools that are learning remotely has actually gone down. So it was 4, now it's only 1. And also the number of schools that were having to delay the start of term because of RAC has gone down to 0 from 19 as well. So in some ways, as you say, Gillian Keegan trying to kind of show that this is really the government getting to grips with the situation, and actually knowledge is power when it comes to finding all of this RAC and therefore being able to mitigate some of the difficulties that it does cause. But what's really interesting in that data set is also the fact that not all schools have yet responded to the questionnaires yet. So last time we had that update, the government said there was about 5% of schools that still were yet to respond to the questionnaires. Now we've got an update and the number has increased. It's up to 98.6%, but nonetheless that means that just under 1.5% of schools still haven't replied to those questionnaires yet. So the real question is, why not? Why is it taking so long? And is the government pushing for that? Is the government maybe even frustrated with the potential slow pace of that? We also know that at some point in the future the NHS is going to be publishing a list of buildings with RAC as well. We are also still expecting an update at some point, we don't know when, from the Ministry of Justice about a survey that was launched in April around RAC in prisons and courts. So this is really just the beginning of the RAC saga, I think. And also we know that potentially this number is going to go up again as those surveys continue to come back and continue potentially to find more RAC in the UK schools.
Mari, thanks so much. Mari Aurora there for us in Westminster. Now, hospital consultants in England have gone on strike this morning in a long-running dispute over pay. Consultants will deliver Christmas Day levels of staffing only, while junior doctors will work as usual. Tomorrow, for the first time in NHS history, both junior doctors and consultants will strike together. Emergency care will be provided, but no elective care is likely to take place. On Thursday and Friday, there will be a full walkout of junior doctors, while consultants will work as usual. And for 3 days in October, junior doctors and consultants will strike together once more. Again, no elective care is expected then. Meanwhile, the government plans to extend strike restrictions to cover doctors and nurses in a move to protect time-critical services during industrial action, like chemotherapy or dialysis. Health Secretary Steve Barclay told Sky News this morning that health unions are resorting to what he called increasing militancy.
It doesn't cover important treatments like dialysis or induction of labour. So there's things that are missed by that, and we think it doesn't get the balance right. It still enables people to exercise their right to strike, but it also protects things that would not be protected by a Christmas Day service. And we've seen this escalation, increasing militancy, a desire politically to time strikes, including with the Conservative Party conference, to refuse exemptions that have been agreed locally.
Well, member of the BMA Consultants Committee, Dr. Tom Dolphin, hit back at the Health Secretary. He says the government is trying to suppress the pay dispute without addressing the root cause of the problems.
The government has allowed those posts to continue to be unfilled. They've not addressed the problem, the root cause of the problem, which is the understaffing, which is caused partly by pay. It's caused by people leaving the NHS to go to other countries where they're valued much more highly than they are in the UK. And that's why there are these gaps in the service throughout the year, not just on strike days. The BMA has always been very clear on is that we will not ask, for example, consultants and junior doctors to do a full walkout on the same day. We're always maintaining that minimum staffing level because we want to make sure the patients are safe. Trying to address the issue by suppressing this very legitimate pay dispute through heavy-handed legislation isn't the way forward. They need to address the cause.
Our correspondent Fraser Maud is at Leeds General Infirmary. And Fraser, if the government has made some progress in other sectors, clearly it seems like both sides are strengthening their positions and their resolves as things stand here.
It certainly seems so, yeah, becoming more entrenched. We've seen parts of the NHS accept the government's pay deal, but the junior doctors and the senior doctors and consultants don't seem to be getting any nearer to reaching any form of settlement. I can have a chat now with Dr. Shulay Sinha, consultant radiologist, who's on the picket line here today. 50 years since we've seen scenes like this. Tomorrow, unprecedented. Junior doctors and senior doctors all on strike. In your 20 plus years in the NHS, did you ever think you'd be here on a picket line?
Never. Never at all. Me and my colleagues, we want to be with our patients right now. We want to be helping for them, caring for them. This is what we want to do. And this is just not in our DNA to be out on a picket line taking industrial action like this. But unfortunately, we've been forced into this position.
I mean, the two sides do seem really entrenched. The government's saying their deal stands. It's been ratified by an independent pay review body. But the BMA, your colleagues, are saying that 6% or close to 6% is not enough, that it needs to be nearer 35%. It seems like there's a huge gulf here.
Well, I mean, like, if you look at, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a pay rise. This is an imposition that's occurred from a body that the government claims is independent, but some of their own people on their back benches have called it a sham. So, in effect, a 6% pay uplift amounts to a real terms 5% pay cut again. So we're just looking at going backwards even further.
In terms of how long this could go on for, you've got a mandate for a further 6 months of strike action. That's going to take us well into the really difficult, strenuous winter period for the NHS. How far are you prepared to go? More strike action planned for October. Are we going to see this industrial dispute roll on through that most difficult period of winter?
So at present, for consultants, our strike action mandate is up until the end of December. So the juniors have had a new mandate for themselves, but, you know, all I can say is that our door has always been open to negotiate with the government. Mr. Barclay hasn't met with consultants for over 160 days to negotiate on any part of, you know, trying to get a settlement there. We've even written to the Prime Minister and Steve Barclay today. You might have seen the letter posted already, and in that we say that, you know, if a deal was forthcoming similar to that that has been achieved in Scotland, it is something that we could take to our members. If there is a credible offer put on the table, we will take that to our members and get them to vote on it.
Okay, Dr. Sinha, thanks ever so much for joining us. I'll let you get back to your colleagues back on the picket line over there. So the doctor's keen to get around the negotiating table. It looks as though the government are pretty entrenched with their view that what they're offering is enough. They say it's nowhere near enough here at here on the picket line. The stalemate continues.
Fraser, thanks so much. A major review of every single Metropolitan Police officer has resulted in more than 1,000 being suspended or put on restricted duties. It follows a push to root out rogue officers after serving officers were jailed for murder, rape and gross misconduct. The Met says over the last 12 months, 100 officers have been dismissed for gross misconduct, a 66% increase on normal rates. 201 officers are currently suspended, up from 69 this time last year. And 860 officers has been put on restricted duties. The Met says it could take years for officers who've committed criminal offences to be brought to justice.
The number of conduct investigations that we are investigating has gone up by about a third. The time it takes to investigate some of these matters, particularly if it has a criminal element to it, criminal trials, if someone were charged now, are probably being listed for the spring of 2025. So the harder we work, the greater effort we put in, which is absolutely the right thing to do. The paradox for me does mean that more of these difficult cases will come to light. And of course, it's not just going to take a month or 6 months or a year. I foresee that this is going to take us a few years.
The clean-up of the Metropolitan Police comes after a series of shocking cases involving serving officers, as you know. In September 2021, Wayne Couzens was given a whole life sentence for the kidnap, rape and murder of Sarah Everard. In December that year, police officers Denise Jaffa and Jamie Lewis were jailed for taking and sharing photos of the murdered sisters Nicole Smallman and Bibar Henry. And in February this year, PC David Carrick was jailed for 30 years for 49 charges, including 24 counts of rape against 12 women. Now, Sky News investigation has found that controversial crypto casinos, which are illegal in the UK, are being accessed by some British gamblers. A crypto casino is an online platform where gamblers play with digital cryptocurrency. Our teams found that some online influencers who stream their betting might be breaking the law by promoting these sites to UK audiences. Our data and forensics correspondent Tom Cheshire has been looking into whether online casinos are doing enough to stop vulnerable gamblers.
It's a full screen! Big numbers! Big numbers!
Welcome to the world of crypto casinos. Dizzying, hyperactive, and also illegal in the UK. Unlike traditional betting shops or sites, with crypto casinos you're not playing with normal money, but with digital currencies like Bitcoin. Influencers with millions of followers between them stream their play. And big-name celebrities like the rapper Drake have promoted them.
Trying to play some roulette, to be honest.
But Sky News can reveal that some influencers may be breaking the law by promoting these sites to UK audiences. And there are questions over whether casinos are doing enough to prevent people from the UK accessing them.
I spent years paying off all my debts. Then in the space of a few hours, I've lost everything.
This gambler had signed up for a gambling self-exclusion scheme, which blocked him from all UK casinos. But after social media sites began serving him videos of streamers gambling on crypto casinos, he was pulled back in.
I ended up buying a crypto coin, thinking I'll have a go, just see if it's any different. And then before you know it, that single deposit turned into 10 within the space of a few hours. And I've gone through my entire savings for 2 years in about the space of an hour and a half.
We can't track how many Brits are playing on crypto casinos, but the slots page on streaming site Kick has been visited almost 80,000 times from UK devices in August alone. And worldwide, more people have visited stake.com this year than many major UK gambling sites. Because they're illegal, crypto casino sites are blocked for people accessing them from the UK. But some streamers are advertising ways around that, which may be in breach of the law. Some streamers are advertising these casinos, some streamers are going further and offering workarounds so that people can use software to get on them. Where does that leave them legally?
They may also be breaking the law. So some of them are advertising certain casinos as friendly to this software. They're offering step-by-step instructions on how to use it, as well as sometimes even giving personal recommendations for certain brands of this software.
The streaming site Twitch told us they take the issue of viewers' safety seriously, and they've banned a number of casinos. One of the crypto casinos, Stake, told us they were fully compliant with gambling legislation in the UK and that they do not accept UK customers. Kick, another site, did not respond to our request for comment, neither did Drake. As a result of Sky's reporting, both the Gambling Commission and Stake have launched investigations to determine whether in this new world of betting, the old rules are being followed. Tom Cheshire, Sky News.
Well, if you scan the QR code on the screen now, you'll be taken to an extended version of the report, which you can watch online. Now, legal proceedings will begin today as the Scottish Government challenges Westminster's decision to block its controversial gender reform bill. It would grant trans people easier access to change gender without a medical diagnosis, but the UK Government stopped the bill receiving royal assent earlier this year. Well, Scotland correspondent Conor Gillis joins us now. Conor, I mentioned the word controversial there. Clearly, the bill itself was fairly controversial, but there are also much broader implications of what this court case could decide in terms of the relationship between Westminster and Scotland.
Wide ramifications potentially coming down the track here as this three-day showdown gets underway in Edinburgh. Proceedings in the court building behind me just getting underway just now. And this is essentially the Scottish and the UK governments going head-to-head over those highly controversial gender recognition changes that were passed by majority at Holyrood, which is just down a few hundred metres away from where we are just now, passed just before Christmas, and that essentially will allow 16 and 17-year-olds to be able to change their gender without their requirement for a medical diagnosis, and that is a divergence from the rest of the UK. Why is this controversial? Well, the UK government is saying and blocking this from becoming law, giving it royal assent, because they are essentially saying that it infringes on UK-wide equality legislation, and they're saying as a result it cannot go ahead. Now, this will be 3 days of hearings here in Edinburgh before a single judge. There will be no politicians giving speeches here. This will be fairly procedural and, for want of a better phrase, pretty dry when it comes to the legal jargon around this. The presiding judge will then go away to determine who will win this case. Will it be the Scottish Government? Will it be the UK Government? Even some within the SNP's own ranks have suggested this may be a failed mission before it's even started.
Conor, thanks so much for that. Conor Gillis there for us in Edinburgh. Well, we're just getting started here on Sky News today. Lots more still to come this hour. After this short break, we're going to be joined by Sean Bell to discuss President Zelensky's visit to New York for the UN General Assembly. At 10:30, we will be joined live and exclusive by Lord King, the former Governor of the Bank of England. Of course, following Liz Truss's war of words with the Bank of England yesterday. We'll get his thoughts on that and much more. And later in the hour, we'll be live in Paris, where Sir Keir Starmer is about to meet President Macron. Don't go anywhere. Sky News Today, back in a second.
We arrive. A secret hospital hidden in the Myanmar jungle, treating the victims of this bloody war.
This is hardcore emergency medicine in the hardest of circumstances. So you'll be doing brain surgery today?
Here, the resistance lives or dies.
It's been quite remarkable. You have to see these things, but it frankly hurts when you do it.
We arrive. A secret hospital hidden in the Myanmar jungle, treating the victims of this bloody war.
This is hardcore emergency medicine in the hardest of circumstances. So you'll be doing brain surgery today?
Here, the resistance lives or dies.
It's been quite remarkable. You have to see these things, but it frankly hurts when you do it.
I'm Inzamam Rashid and I'm Sky's North of England correspondent, telling stories from this culturally rich region I call home.
It's going to become very similar to other places and lose its unique qualities.
It's steeped in history.
If the Taliban found your family, what would happen?
I think they're just going to straight away execute them.
There are issues of racism in all levels of cricket.
I was on the balcony a couple of times. I was nearly gone.
Football is a joy to watch, and when people are disappointed, you can feel the hate.
I just felt physically sick, so I was like, that's really in my system.
We take you to the heart of the stories that shape our world. Even before the pandemic, GPs were pleading for help. Government expects more face-to-face contact with patients in return.
Men, they want to force you doing something which you don't want to do. Just because you're homeless and you're looking for a warm place to sleep.
We give a voice to communities often unheard and unserved from a region with a distinct history and global impact.
Welcome back to the war in Ukraine now, where at least 2 people are known to have died in strikes overnight, including an attack on a warehouse in Lviv. Well, I'm joined by our military analyst, Sean Bell. Sean, great to see you as always. So just break down what's happened in Lviv.
Yeah, the Ukraine claims there have been a whole mass of drone and missile attacks overnight. One ballistic missile attack, 27 drones attacking targets all the way across the early hours of the morning. Lviv seems to be in the main target overnight. That's where some of these images we're seeing at the moment come from, which is quite a long way over to the west of Lviv. One person died here, major fire in an industrial warehouse. There was also a man and a woman trapped under a little rubble. Amazingly, though, the woman got up absolutely unscathed. The man has been quite badly hurt. But 18 of these missiles attacked Lviv, and it's not entirely clear from a military perspective why, but the Russians are quite keen to attack the Western resupply, which might have been coming through there. Also, a person died at Kherson, another attack there. Also, they're worth noting, we've been talking a lot about the grain supplies going out. There was a grain ship has just left Ukraine's port using that temporary corridor hugging the western side of the Black Sea. I'd be interested to see whether that makes it through to the Bosphorus.
Meanwhile, President Zelensky's in New York for the UN General Assembly.
Yeah, as we were discussing off air, there's a lot of global leaders not going to this, but it's his first visit in person. Normally he joins via Zoom link across India. Now, earlier he visited some of his troops that have been wounded. He's seeing some of them here. The Americans providing support via one of their hospitals, Stratton Island University Hospital. But also President Zelensky did a CBS interview when he was over there in which he very animatedly described how Ukraine was fighting the fight so there wouldn't be a World War III. And he also described Putin as the second Hitler, very animated language. As I say, he normally joins via Zoom. This time he'll be there in person. Later on today, he's addressing the main conference. Russia will be there, but of course, President Putin won't be. He's indicted by the International Criminal Court, but Lavrov will. And tomorrow, President Zelensky will brief the UN Security Council. So he's got a number of appointments when he's there.
How complicated is it for him to get there in person? I mean, why is it that this is the first time he's been there in person?
One of the questions we're trying to get to the bottom of exactly that. It's a long way for him to travel, and without wishing to be too downplayed the United Nations, it's relatively impotent in terms of what it can do to support Zelensky. He's normally there championing, trying to get arms and stuff like that. But because Russia's a permanent member of the Security Council, clearly it's not going to rally behind President Zelensky. But what is interesting, in the margins of this meeting, the G7, which is a sort of subset of the UN, they did meet, and they've issued a very strongly worded joint statement calling on China to put pressure on Russia to try and bring the war to the end. But it is interesting that even President Zelensky said, why is Russia still a member of the United Nations? And of course, part of that unfortunately goes back to Russia took it over from the former Soviet Union. There were 5 permanent members at the end of World War II because they were the founding fathers of it, and that got locked into a charter. And if you're going to change that charter, it would be a huge amount of effort to do that. And the advocates for keeping the status quo claim that regarding not the United Nations, not everybody agrees in the United Nations, but it is an opportunity to talk, for dialogue and for compromise. And when the war is over, that'll definitely be something that's required.
Sure, as always. Thanks so much. We're going to take a quick look at the weather now.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather.
Conditions this week mean it will be fairly windy with showers or longer spells of rain possible. Temperatures will be around average this afternoon with strong winds in the south bringing gales to coasts and hills. Northern Scotland can expect sunny spells and a few showers, but elsewhere it'll be rather cloudy with outbreaks of rain mainly through central parts. That rain will be heavy in places and will become increasingly confined to Scotland and western parts of both Ireland and Northern Ireland later on. Of England should do at its meeting on Thursday with the former governor, Lord King.
Wave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting live online.
Turn it up.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide,
All around the world.
24/7.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people,
by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
This is Starr Radio UK.
You hold the world in.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you, and once again say welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Starr Radio UK Morning Show.
Forevermore. And that's what makes you.
Today is the 19th day of September, the year 2023, with the time now 10:43 from the hearts of London.
You remember.
From now to 12:30, I'm going to be your captain, and I'm going to be taking you through all the terrains. Let me rest assured of one thing. I'm going to get you everything that you need to know when it comes to all the news that is making the round, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. It's making headlines. I promise you one thing for sure, that will be coming your way. But if you don't know me, I am the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Welcome on board. But let me say good morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, in our North London studios, who will be coming your way exactly at 11 o'clock with the updates from Nigeria. And to my able producer, Mr. Francis Gayi, as well. Yes, he's been pulling all the strings, making sure that we do everything perfectly here, and the machines and everything working perfectly. Francis, good morning.
All of you makes you.
Let me say good morning to my brother Felix, all the way in Aberdeen, Kojo D, Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin. Dr. Martin, I salute you. Hey, my brother Kwame Chale Nwe Che Obeshi. All right then, to my Bishop Adeshina, good morning all the way in Lagos, Nigeria, and all the crew, all the colleagues at the RBS office in Lagos, Nigeria, RBS office, yeah. And let me say good morning also to Anthony Adedeji Aziz. Olakunle, good morning. Shamsuddin, good morning. Rachel, hey, how are you? Some Nigerians will say, how, buddy? Pastor Mo, good morning to you. And all the men of God on this platform, I salute each and every one of you, and I welcome you to the Starr Radio UK Morning Show. But do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones, and invite them to like our pages as well. Welcome on board. Well, program outline. This is how the program is going to be this morning. I'm going to bring you the quotes for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit with the travel updates, and then we'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. That is known as Global Trotting. Then at 11 o'clock, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in to bring you the updates from Nigeria, as I said. Then we continue from there to look at all the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Then we continue from there once again. At 12 o'clock, open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. At 12:30, the curtains will be brought down for the end of the program. However, if you are joining us and you have something to say before that time that the lines are open for you to make your voice heard, just post it on our Facebook or YouTube or the X channel that we are using. Okay. Starr Radio UK, the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Let's crack on. 10:46 the time. So the quote for the day, my apologies, let me take it again. The quote for the day says, without a solid foundation of integrity, any success will ultimately crumble. Integrity, integrity, integrity. All right then, so now let's move on straight to some of the other updates that I need to bring your way, and notably now the weather for you. For those of you in London and the southeast of England, we've had an autumnal weather yesterday till today. So a bit more. Today will be very windy with strong southwesterly winds. There will be plenty of cloud with a few patches of rain developing at times, but some sunny intervals will break through later in the day. Now tonight will remain windy with variable amounts of cloud. It will be largely dry, albeit the odd spot of light rain or drizzle cannot be ruled out. Temperature is going to be 20 degrees, the lowest is going to be 16 degrees. Pollen level is going to be there virtually zilch. Now UV level low and pollution low. Sunset 1907 and sunrise for tomorrow morning is going to be 0641 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Star Radio UK. We're going to be taking you straight to the travel update. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Star, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. As you keep navigated, I promise I'm on the Starr Radio UK travel update. I come to where every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:48. And what is your travels like this morning? Now, so those of you traveling on the major roads in London, A10, A316, A4, Blackwater Tunnel, got serious delays there. So if you can avoid it, do your best to do so. Now on the London Underground this morning as well, apart from the Jubilee line that has got minor delays due to train cancellations, all the others are running a very, very good service there. London Overground, DLR and London Tramlink, good service there also. That brings us straight to the river bus. On the river bus this morning, I can tell you assuredly good service throughout there. The London cable car has also got good service. And that brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update, that is the National Rail. So on the National Rail this morning, now first out trains Grand Central, Great Northern, London Northeastern Railway, Lumo, Northern Rail, Thameslink have all got minor delays. That aside, all the others, oops, good one there, good service throughout there. So I would say that's how I would normally do. And you know it, and I want you to join me in saying that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Over, everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over, Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time exactly to 10 minutes to the top of the hour, and that means that it is now time for Global Trotting. Okay, so let's see what is making the rounds this morning across the globe when it comes to the news. Okay, yeah. Now, first and foremost, veteran producer and artist ID Kabasa Bon Olumide Ogunode says the police investigations should look beyond the eventual death of Afrobeat singer Mohbad. Okay, we'll be looking into that. Now, Unga Tinubu Ramaphosa meets on Nigeria South Africa Economic Regional Cooperation. We know that the president is in New York at the moment. Now, U.S. legal panel terminates Femi Gbajabiamile's law license after stealing money from clients, violating bar rules. Okay, so what role is Femi Gbajabiamile now involved in Nigeria? Obi won on social media but lost presidential poll. Tubaro is saying as well. And then the federal government, NLC, meeting deadlock. Workers insist on demands. But is government going to say, okay, we're going to give them? But the problem is, Tinubu is saying that, look, you know what, the policies that I'm putting in place is challenging, but it will yield the necessary results that we want. But what do you think about all that? More going to be coming your way from there. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And just stay tuned whilst we continue to bring you more of the other stories making the rounds this morning. All right. So moving on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. Now, when it comes to other parts of Africa as well, Chad, revision of the electoral register comes to an end. At the start of the revision of the electoral roll, the federalists are threatened to boycott the operation on the grounds of irregularities. Well, African politics for you. You know what? DR Congo buries victims of August 30 crackdown. Some of the stories making the rounds. A Libya vaccination campaign launched in flood-ravaged Dena. Search efforts are going on. South Africa rhinos at world's largest farm to be released in protected areas across Africa. A good one there. Conservation. All right, then now moving on straight to other stories as well. Making the rounds. It talks about now we've had stability to develop. We just lack transformational leaders after Nkrumah. Professor Frimpong Boateng says. Wow. You know, Professor Frimpong Boateng is one of the he was in charge of, was it environment, and then under his watch they were saying, accusing him of lots of head movers and all stuff like that. But he's come out to say that, you know what, we could have been doing better. We could have done better than what we are doing at the moment, but we lack transformational leaders because we got the stability for how many years now. But as I say, those in authority, what are they actually giving to us? Are we getting value for money? How KIA official sees a Ghanaian gold ring bangle for gold for oil policy? Kwesi Pratt. Well, we'll be telling you more about that. This gold for oil thing, and the thing is an innovation. I mean, if you say we want to do a butter trade, I don't see any innovation about butter trade there. Okay, now hot limited registration if you've received injunction, Jantua to the EC. But the EC is saying that, you know what, we are independent, so we are not part of Ghana, right? Independent, maybe that's what they think. But so the Supreme Court or the courts have said that you need to stop. I mean, an injunction has been raised against you, so you need to stop whatever you are doing, and then after a hearing, then the court can rule that you can go on or whatever. But they decided they didn't want to, and they are so embarking on their quest to do that limited registration. We'll be telling you more about all that in a moment, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other parts of the world as well, India expels Canadian diplomat as Sikh murder row escalates. Well, interesting one. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has suggested Indian state's involvement in the killing of a Canadian Sikh separatist leader. Okay, well, they are standing up for him. But again, this is the question I'm asking. We have Nnamdi Kanu incarcerated. The law, the courts have said that release him, but they decided not to. But we don't have the UK standing up to Nigerian authorities and saying that he is an UK citizen, so leave him alone, set him free if the courts have said so. But we don't know what is going on behind the scenes, but we'll tell you more about that. US citizens have been freed from Iran in $6 billion prisoner swap. The 4 men and women are returning to the US after $6 billion of frozen Iranian funds is released. Okay, and debris found from the F-35 jet after pilot ejected. You know how much that jet is? It's about 8 million. 8 million. The F-35B fighter jet went missing on Sunday after a mishap, leading officials to ask for public help. But now they say the debris have been found. A mass suggests Twitter, now X, could go behind paywall. The billionaire suggested the social media platform, now called X, could charge for use of the system. So why don't we go to another platform where it is for free? Then we can do that, and then they can also make money. They can make money from the adverts there. What do you think? Well, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Japan firms cut ties with boy band agency over sex abuse. Nissan, Asahi, and Suntory are among the companies that Nissan, Asahi, and Suntory are among the companies that say they will not renew contracts with Johnny and Associates. Okay, well, they have to now maybe rename. Okay, now moving on to the UK front as well. YouTube stops Russell Brand's channel from making money. But the question that I'm not being misogynistic here, but if you have been raped or anything of the sort, why do you wait for 20 years? Why do you wait for how many years? And then you come to say, this is what happened to me. But some will say that, well, because they didn't have the urge, or they didn't have the, they were shocked, and that's why. So it's taking you that long. Okay, because now some people see it as just sabotaging his career, or one of those ones that is it what me too, and just clamping down on anybody who they think that is making a headway. Now it's not shied out from the fact that he said, I was promiscuous back in the day, but now I've changed and everything, and there wasn't any relationship that I went into that was forced. I forced myself on the individuals, but they were all consensual. But I don't know. What do you think about all that? I will want you to do, because it makes those who have actually been raped, okay? So, but it makes them now a bit cagey. They think that, are people going to take it the same way and not take it serious? That it's one of those ones that maybe we don't have enough evidence now to charge the person and blah blah blah. Is that how the police are going to take it? I'm going to tell you more about that. Number of English schools with racks rises to 174. The government says 27 more educational settings in England are affected by crumbling concrete. Human remains were found at daughter's home. Virginia McLeod is accused of killing her parents at some point since August 2018. How come? Okay, and double doctor strikes. What you need to know. I'm going to tell you more. But up to 60 officers a month could face sack in Met crackdown. More than 1,000 Met police officers are currently suspended or on restricted duties, the force has said. UNESCO says Stonehenge tunnel plan must be changed. The organization wants the A303 scheme to be amended before a World Heritage Committee meeting. Those are some of the stories making the rounds this morning. And court clash over move to block gender reform. The Scottish legislation was blocked by UK ministers, and now that decision is being challenged in the courts. Those are some of the stories making the rounds this morning, and I'm going to be bringing you more from or details of it once we go on. But for now, let's enjoy this music whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in. It's writing all the names of talkatives, those who are not actually there for you. They're just trying to susupon you, malign, marginalize, use all the synonyms that you can use. Okay, all right then. So let's enjoy this music, and I'll be with you. It's from Kofi Boham.
Song on this album, y'all.
secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your hearts. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet, and tell them, say, I'm writing names of talkatives. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkers.
I'm writing names of
1,
talkers.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All of this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, let the way come.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have
This is Starr Radio UK.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teach us how you hear. Silence the voices in your head and give your attention to your fears. I'm writing.
Okay, writing names of talkatives. From Koiki Boham. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With the time now, 4 minutes past the top of the hour.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'll write the names of
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2.
I hope you enjoy that. And getting away from anyone who's not giving you the progress or anyone who is just trying to hold you down. That, in the nutshell, is the meaning of that song. But it's my singular honor to welcome once again my brother, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yomi, I can't see you. I can't see you.
Call him, say talkative. Do you know any?
Talkative.
Yeah. Have you met any?
Talkative.
Can we write some?
Talkative.
List some names of talkatives.
Okay, yeah, now.
Yeah. Some friends are
Talkative.
some family members,
Talkative.
some landlords.
Well, so as I've said,
I said your ex.
those who you think that they are all talkative, just talking, something, critiquing you, and not doing constructive criticism, and you want to avoid them, do so, because if you are convicted in your heart that what you are doing is good, why don't you get on with it?
Talkative.
But as I said earlier on, now I can see my brother and colleague and co-presenter Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who is in our North London studios after a very lovely weekend, and he's chilling out. No, he wasn't chilling out. Yesterday he was on duty elsewhere. Yomi, let me say good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning back to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to our listeners and viewers from around the globe, and welcome once again to the 1909 2023, 6 minutes past the hour, and it's good to be back again with you, Mr. Archie, after the weekend break off.
Yes. How are you doing? How is the family?
Well, we give thanks. Like I always say, the family are doing very well, and it's good to see that we're doing our best to keep the family going, which is the not just our immediate family, but the most important, the family from different part of the globe, which we are also serving with the kind of work that we do on a daily basis.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Mr. Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria as part of the morning show. It comes your way every weekday from 10:30 exactly. So now let's crack on. Now, when it comes to some of the stories that is making the rounds, the veteran producer, and that's pertaining to the death of Mohbad. I mean, why I'm touching on that, he's somebody who was making it big time, and then he's dead. Now, can you tell us a bit about what brought about his death? Is it that he committed suicide? What have been information that is coming from what the causes of the death? It has a post-mortem been done as well. What has exactly gone on there, Yomi?
Mohbad is a Nigerian artist that died just about a week ago now. His death have literally generated so much controversy, allegations, and name it. But we have to go by from what the Nigerian authority are saying, not what the social media is actually saying. The first thing is Mohbad's death might now be something that will be a legacy when it comes to either bully, when it comes to record label, when it comes to music, when it comes to so many things. It seems right now, as I speak to you, the Nigerian police in Lagos State, the CP, have now confirmed that even though he has been buried, which again a lot of Nigerians are very, very skeptical to the rush of his burial, when there's a lot of things that were happening just immediately after his death was announced. But police to exhume the body for investigation, that is the latest coming up as we speak to you right now. The Lagos State Police Commissioner, Mr. Idowu Owo-Nwuwa, yesterday, the 18th of September 2023, have now put together a 13-man special investigation team to do what? To unravel the question that you've just asked, the circumstances surrounding the death of the Nigerian singer and Naira Marley's former protege, Ireoluwa Aloba, which is the full name, popularly called Mohbad. A lot of you might probably, our listeners, probably might know Naira Marley. Naira Marley was based here in UK, and we've been able to confirm that, based on the information that he has actually said and the ones outside, has a lot of issues here in the United Kingdom with the UK authority. It was a Nigerian as well, living in UK, but as so many that were living in Peckham area, out of about 124 arrests. Mohbad was one of his artists until things fall apart. Sometime last year, Mohbad decided to set up his own label record, and like I said, things started falling apart quickly. But like I said, as we speak right now, the question first is why is it taking the Nigerian authority, this long, to get involved? Because we're not talking about just an ordinary Nigerians. Even the ordinary Nigerians have the right, when death occurred, to be investigated. And the question again is, as a lot of us that says, Nigeria has so much, to deal with, and maybe it's just too big to deal with some of those crises. But as I speak to you right now, there is now a 13-man special investigation team that has been set up. Even someone that is a diaspora, friend. I'm talking about, the diaspora commissioner, Abike Erelu Erewa Dabiri, a Nigerian politician, a former member of the Nigerian Federal House of Representatives. In that particular constituency that Mohbad died, I've just only released a message. You wonder whether she's no longer living in this planet, especially for a constituency that matters to her, where Mohbad came out from. She has just left a message on an IG. Davido, as I speak to you right now, from what we are hearing, is on his way back to Nigeria to be part of the night vigil for Mohbad. lot of messages coming out on the social media, but the one we stick to this morning is that Mohbad now body will be exhumed for further investigation. Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. There's also a link to cultism. It was a bloody weekend in Shagamu. Mr. Archie, I've seen those videos. 25 innocent Nigerians were killed in Ogun State, southwest of Nigeria, and that is linking to cultism as well. Like I said, 3 of them are secondary school students, and most of them are linked as well to music, drugs, sex, and so many things as well. The question is, where is Nigeria heading to? But it seems that Nigeria is heading somewhere because the president is currently in New York for the United Nations General Assembly. Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listen, it's quite a worrying stories development coming from Nigeria. But let's come to the Mohbad situation again. Now, did they say the cause of death, and why did they rush to bury him? Is he a Muslim?
Well, he's not a Muslim, and this is where the authority wants to now exhume the body. You think that should be the first thing to do in a normal civilized society, but like I said, Nigeria is not that country that anything goes. I mean, somebody has been buried. Now we have to put the body out again and then go through the normal procedure that should have gone through. Who actually gave the death certificate? Lagos State is not ordinary state. Death certificate is issued when authority have concluded on their investigation. But it seems that we like to do the other things the other way around. Even the Lagos State government, I've not really said much, but like I said, after the pressure on the social media, which is the only media that Nigerians are using, the authority have now set up a 13-man team. While speaking at the inauguration of the Special Investigation Team, the CP said his members will be domiciled at the homicide section of the State Criminal Investigation Department, also adding that the team was divided into 4 sub-teams to take care of the specific area such as forensic, technical, medical, practical investigation. At least this is never too late, but these will not happen in UK where somebody died and then you end up burying that person without thorough investigation. But now that this investigation is going to come up, we will have to give them some days and weeks for them to come out with their report. And I hope by the time the report comes out, it will not just be the same report like the NSAS that end up somewhere under the desk of the government and nothing happen as well. Because we know it is good that they spend money. It's also a kind of a way to create funding, and their funding, and then the investigation, and then the inquiries, but nothing happened after that. We hope this time around something would happen to the singer that died with so much mysterious information coming out. I've seen different videos of beating, bullying. He even accused the Nigerian NDLEA of giving him something to drink out of everyone that was captured during an invasion sometime about 2 years ago. He was the only one that was allowed to drink substance from that liquid. The question is, NDLEA have denied that, but he's dead. We can only go by the recording that he did prior before he died.
Wow. May he so rest in peace, because even now I know that he's not going to be resting because they have to go and exhume him and do all that stuff. But the public will want to know. They have to know. It's the right of the public to know exactly what is happening to Mohbad. But as some are calling, it could be anybody close to us tomorrow, but we don't want that. So if there is death, they need to find out exactly what the causes of death were before. The person didn't die in hospital, or wasn't ill for a long time and then the person passed on. We need to find out why the person died. Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi, Koiki in North London Studios.
Maybe we should just listen to just one track. This was 4 months ago, and this one says "Ask About Me," and this is a singer that was well loved. He's been in UK before, but again, he has now passed on, and we can only pray for the 4-month-old baby and the wife and the family as well. This is Mohbad 4 months ago. Well, it says what flies up there is the bird, and there's a human being that walks on the ground, and it seems that the bird of him now is flying up there. But we hope that thorough investigation will be done so that this young man can have a sleep while we continue with the world that we are still living in. Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I come back now to you in the studio for all other news coming out of Nigeria today.
Yes, at 18 minutes past 11 the time. The morning show updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi, Koiki in North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios. And let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds. Now, Tinubu and Ramaphosa meet on Nigeria South Africa Economic Regional Cooperation. I know that Nigeria and South Africa have been having that cooperation for a very long time, because we have some of the mobile networks that are from South Africa that has been established there. But there have been times where is it the migrant crisis in South Africa, where the South Africans hate Nigerians, and there are at times, because they think that, well, they've not got them themselves in the position where maybe they are the ones controlling the stakes in South Africa, and have challenged them. Is it going to be bringing all those things on board so that if we are doing business, there's a peaceful coexistence as Africans? We're supposed to have been able to be moving around our neighborhood, because we are all one. I remember back in the day when South Africa was under the apartheid system, we had Nigeria, we had Ghana, we had all those countries helping, pushing for the agenda, and people were. I remember because where I lived in Accra, they have the NAFTI, National Film and Television Institute, hostel in our area, and there were lots of South Africans who were given scholarships to come and study there. And I know that Nigeria too had lots of it like that. So I don't know what it's going to be talking about, but is it just economic or business lines, and what about the welfare of Nigerians who are in South Africa and vice versa as well? Yomi.
Well, this is going to be almost the second outing of President Bola Tinubu officially to the global world. The G20 took place in India some few weeks back. We saw a lot of engagement, the side meetings and all that. The president couldn't attend the BRICS. The vice president was sent. So it's another opportunity as the world leaders all gathered at New York for the United Nations General Assembly. The most important thing that the President Bola Tinubu is expecting, that Nigerians and South Africans can work together, is going to be a stronger economic ties with South Africa. 6 reforms of the Bretton Woods Institution. Tinubu advanced this strong economic tie. What we have been told that the President Bola Tinubu yesterday Monday advanced his economic development diplomatic drive for investment attraction as he engaged extensively in this bilateral discussion with South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa. What you got to remember is, yes, we have a lot of Nigerians that are living in South Africa, but it seems that every now and then there is this issue between these two citizens for whatever reason. So we hope that the president will be able to address the issues concerning Nigerians that are living in South Africa, just as we also say that those Nigerians that are living there must abide by the rules and regulations of their host country. Also in the meeting with his South Africa counterpart, President Tinubu asserted that the Africa must have a consensus view that hundreds of billions of dollars spent through international development finance institutions over the years must meet the specific needs of developing democracies in Africa, even if it's done with exclusive regard for their own enlightened self-interest. So, like I said, all this is happening right now as I believe the president speaks as the 5th African president later on at the UN General Assembly, and I'll be giving you everything we need to know tomorrow, when also the Yorubas will be coming out in New York. But the most important thing on Niger Voices, we will have more time to discuss everything at the first outing and compare that maybe later on next week with Buhari's first appearance as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at the United Nations General Assembly. 22 minutes past I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, I was going to ask about the various demonstrations that were supposed to be taking place during his visit to the UN, but we can look at that and ask yourself that the first outing of the former president Buhari and comparing it to what Tinubu has done so far, how do Nigerians see it? And is that demonstration and all those things, now you said that it's going to be happening maybe sometime tomorrow, how is it all happening? I mean, comparing it to what is happening now, Buhari versus Tinubu, how do you see it?
I think there's a lot that we can review back. Let me take you through I will have to study the address of Bola Tinubu, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at the United Nations General Assembly. But let me bring up to you what we know of the first address on the 28th of September 2015 by Muhammadu Buhari, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at the 70th section of the United Nations General Assembly. And it goes like this. I'd like to, Mr. President, on behalf of the government and the people of Nigeria, to congratulate you and also your country on the election to preside over the 70th session of the United Nations General Assembly. He also went to say he would express the expression by the predecessor, Mr. Sam Kamba, and the Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. What we had for President was 55 years ago, almost today, my great predecessor, Nigeria first Prime Minister, Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, stood on this forum to declare Nigerians' desire to develop and maintain friendly relations with all countries. He also assured that the world of our country's commitment to uphold what we call the principles upon which the United Nations was founded. And whether Buhari was able to uphold that, because we know he kidnapped and rendition in Nnamdi Kanu, he almost killed Igboho, he almost also destroyed the economy, but whether Nigerians will remember the Buhari of United Nations General Assembly presenting Nigeria as a country that Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa stood at the forum. But I'm sure many Nigerians will also be questioning the legitimacy of that government, because the election itself was rigged in 1959. Buhari went further to say that Nigeria has contributed. We know that Nigeria has contributed so much when it comes to peacekeeping of the United Nations effort in Ethiopia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Darfur. But Buhari, the president of Nigeria as at the time, left Nigeria tattered, that even as at yesterday in Castina, we are now having a terrorist meeting with the Nigerian military. I'll be telling you more about that. So Tinubu address is important, and I'll be comparing the note of what Tinubu is going to be saying. We now have 7 years to the SDG goals. Buhari never achieved much in the SDG goals, but remember that he talked about the SDG goal. We are gratified to note that the most countries have pledged commitment to the post-2015 development agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals SDG. With their means of implementation, the successor frameworks of the MDGs have come, Mr. President, with lofty aspiration, and if I may say so, the target development cooperation by the international community up to 2020 and the desired universal support. We know that Tinubu has just 7 years. Well, the first 4 years, probably if you get the second year, to get into the SDG goal that is meant to happen by 2031. So there's a lot on the table. The first address of Bola Tinubu at the UN Assembly is going to make a lot of difference compared to Buhari.
But do you think that he's going to be having hostile demonstrations? Because you take a typical example of Buhari, because of his previous, where he was a military dictator before, and then he came metamorphosed into a civilian to run for a presidency and won. So there were lots of people who had something against him. But with Tinubu, he's not, let me put it this way, he's not done. I mean, he's been during the time that he was governor of Lagos State. Lagos State said that, well, they saw lots of development there. So, do you think that he's going to have a hostile demonstration as Buhari did have, the way he had to go and now hire or pay some people to come and demonstrate and organize a counter demonstration against those who were there? Do you think he's going to have anything like that?
I don't see that happening, but you never know what is being planned behind, because the new government wants to be seen as a government that every Nigerian prefer, even though we know that the election has not gone as many Nigerians expected it. So that itself is going to generate negativity, publicity for the president. We also know that the NLC at home are still talking about it might be maybe the president will be coming back as he's facing the protest and the rally at the UN General Assembly. He might be returning back in Nigeria with an indefinite strike because agreement has not been served yet. But the most important thing, going back to part of what Buhari said, as they prerequisite to these, and as we look at the history, dignity, prosperity, justice, partnership, planet, and the people. Buhari talked about fighting the Boko Haram. Tinubu is talking about fixing the economy and bringing the Boko Haram to book as well. But the question is, will he be able to bring in opposition to counter those that are coming out? Because we know that the Yoruba first protest is going to be happening later on today. The New York Times, as you can see there from the poster, we know that the Peter Obi obedient movement are also coming out, and even those within the political party of the APC, we've been hearing that some of them are saying that we might arrest people in New York. I don't know how that is going to happen, but like I said, it seems that a lot is going to be thrown out there, but we have to wait and see whether there might be some that might be doing the counter protest against the president at the United Nations General Assembly coming up in the next few days.
Well, listen to Star Radio UK. Let's see what happens from there. Comfort Olugunja says investigation for where? I bet that is pertaining to Mobile's death, and he says the normal way to shop money. It's just a normal way to shop money. Nigeria never happened to us. So amen. Nigeria never happened to any of us here on this platform. All right, then listen to Star Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios. Now let's hop on straight to what you were talking about before I let you up, and then you can bring all the other story. The NLC deadlock. But yesterday we had information coming through that the government was planning to have a meeting with the NLC. I did say that they are looking at the palliative and looking at everything that government has put in place in replacement for the fuel subsidy thing, and I think that it doesn't go far enough. So now it looks like there's a stalemate. So what is happening there, Yomi?
Well, the president is out of the country. The vice president is at home. We will have to see what is going to happen. Last week, the NLC ultimatum is meant to expire this week. Anytime from now, we should start seeing, messages from them or communicate. But what we can tell you as of today, the federal government, the Nigeria Labour Congress meeting, deadlocked. Workers insist on demands in a race to beat the deadline for the planned commencement of this time around indefinite strike that may lead to the shutdown of the economy. Remember, the economy itself is struggling, and that is why the president wants to advance a proper economic relationship with South Africa and other countries, from India and so many other countries that will be attending the United Nations General Assembly this week. But the parley hosted by the Minister of Labour, Simon Lalong, in Abuja, however, has now failed to reach a consensus. The Nigerian Labour Congress insisted that the federal government must meet its demand ahead of a 21-day ultimatum that was issued on the 1st of September by the Congress. The union had at 1st of September ended a 21-day ultimatum, which is going to expire looking at it in the next 48 hours. In advancing of its demand, the NLC has now mobilized workers for a 2-day warning strike that took place last week between the 5th and the 6th. But it seems that maybe that did not deter the government. It seems now that indefinite strike might be coming up, but there's still more room for negotiation. So we'll have to wait and see how the labor minister is going to work. The previous minister under Buhari, Ngige, was as useless as any other minister anyway, because he wasn't doing what he's meant to do. Let's hope Lalong will stop this. But the question is, do Nigeria have what it takes to pay the right salary, to make sure to cushion the subsidy that has been removed time will tell. But it seems that a former governor himself has a lot to deal with.
Well, he has a lot to deal with. It's a position that he has accepted. Therefore, we are expecting the best from him. And therefore, we expect that he put his best foot forward and then be able to negotiate something. Listen to Starr Radio UK. Now, moving on straight to one other story. Femi Gbajabiamila, what is happening? They said the U.S. Judiciary have decided to, pull his or withdraw his license of operation there due to him stealing money from a client. That's a big one there. Yummy.
Well, the question with Nigerians, politicians, most of them have committed one kind of crime or the other. Let me give you the background. So he's currently the chief of staff, to President Bola Tinubu. I don't know whether he has traveled with him on this particular trip or he has decided just to ignore going to America, even though we don't know whether he might be arrested. Imagine, the president, chief of staff being arrested in America. That would be the biggest headline. He's a politician, but before you become a politician, you must be doing something. While he was a lawyer in America, a particular, just like when you get into accident in UK, lawyers take care of the matter, and then when you get paid, the lawyer is meant to give you the check. But in the other way around, Femi Gbajabiamila took away, thousands of dollars belonging to a client in America and went back to Nigeria. He became a politician, made money, paid back the money, but it seems that the US has not forgotten Femi Gbajabiamila. So the United States legal panel I don't think he might want to do any other legal work in America because he's doing very well in Nigeria. He's been a senator. He's also been, the leader of the House of Reps in Nigeria until Bola Tinubu emerging as the president. And Femi Gbajabiamila now has lost his law license after stealing money from the client, violating the bar rules. The former House Speaker, who now serves as the President Bola Tinubu chief of staff, was, a prodigious body effective from the 1st of July 2020, according to the information. What we can confirm now that the Nigerian politicians who currently serve as the chief of staff, Mr. Gbajabiamila, disgraced the U.S., underscores yet again the gulf between the civilization, the outfare, and the available instruments. So it's all about the money that was paid to a client for the service that he was rendering to that client. He decided to say, let me just take this money and go and do politics in Nigeria. And the politics went on his way, and he has not paid the money back after making so much out of Nigerian politics.
Well, maybe he added some interest on it for the person as well. And, maybe he didn't remember that he has got that money that he needed to pay to the client. Playing the devil's advocate, right? Well, listen.
He can no longer practice law in the state of Georgia.
He wouldn't want to go and practice. He's made the money. Which of the lawyers in America has had money like what he has now? Wow. Yeah. Well, listeners, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:36 the time. We'll go to Yomi.
Take 30 seconds of Mr. Archie.
Okay. Listeners, just bear with us. Yes, Yomi will be with us. Well, as we're saying, we're going to be looking at some of the other stories. They're talking about Peter Obi, and Peter Obi won on social media but lost presidential poll. The question is, now, what the support on social media translated into real votes? Or, as we saw, all the unscrupulous things that were happening during the voting or the elections, is that what actually, so let's say all the people that his followers on the social media translated into real votes. However, there was that let me put it that way, manipulation that ended up changing the scores there. Is that what happened? But we'll be telling you more about all that wherever you are. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And what do you think about all that is happening in Nigeria? Tinubu surprised us with SGFCDS appointment, says Northern Christians. And then the NLC Union demands concrete solution to palliatives, wages, awards. And those are the demands of the NLC. And Tinubu advances stronger economic ties with South Africa, as we did say 6 reforms of Bretton Woods institutions. So what is this again? The reforms that he's talking about there. We'll be bringing you more about all those ones as the days and the hours and the hours and the days and the weeks and the months unfold. But listeners, it is Star Radio UK, the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, quite a lot of work ahead in the Nigerian revenue crisis. There is a huge public debt. We've been talking about this for some time now, and the government is looking for many ways to cushion, the debt that Nigeria is currently facing. But the new FIRS, is now saying also the same thing that many of us have been worried about when it comes to, the staggering debt that Nigeria is owing today. According to the new boss of the FIRS, says that the federal government is spending 96% of revenue on debt servicing, unsustainable. 8.5 trillion collected by mid of September, according to the immediate past FIRS chair. But what do we know? The new chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS, Dr. Zach Adedeji, said yesterday the nation is in a revenue crisis and requires urgent steps to change the narrative. How do we change the narrative for a country that has refused to be productive for the last 24 years of democracy or 63 years of the independence of Nigeria? When you look at Indonesia, when you look at Malaysia, Indonesia is the first exporter of palm oil across the globe, while Malaysia is the second. Nigeria actually helped Malaysia in the 80s. South Korea was far behind in 1982, but today it has already surpassed Nigeria of when it comes to the GDP between the two countries as well. So what do we need to do? According to this is even as the former chairman of the revenue agency, Nami, said the FIRS generated 8.5 trillion in revenue to the federation account as at the mid-September. But they recall that one of the main reasons the government removed subsidy from petrol is the inadequate revenue to run the affairs of the country. Should we now say that if there's not enough income for the country, the country goes into an economic crisis? Well, already the country is going into that already, because we can tell from so many of Nigerians back home complaining, lamenting, as the dollar, as at yesterday, has gone to 920 in the black market, while the pound sterling is 1,200 as well. Where debt has grown bigger than the GDP, the gross domestic product, and debt servicing faster than revenue, immediate actions have to be taken to remedy the situation. On his own agenda to optimize revenue generation, he says his direction, therefore, will key into the reforms made by President Bola Tinubu, who has been inaugurated, what we call the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee. We now also have a new governor, remember Emefiele?
Yeah.
Emefiele. We now have Kadoski. Kadoski will now take over as the CBN governor from Emefiele, with new deputy governors as well. That is coming from the FIRS. Nigeria in a revenue crisis with a huge public debt. Again, Nigerian military has now Nigerian military would like to probe a video of terrorists holding peace meeting with soldiers in Katsina. Well, anything goes in Nigeria. That's what some of us say. But it seems that you never wake up in the morning. There will always be something that will bring questions. Who facilitated this? How was this happening? If the Nigerian military is now probing a meeting between Nigerian military and terrorists in Katsina inside Nigeria, with the motorbikes of many of these terrorists wielding AK-47, where is the chief of staff? The main chief of armed staff and the other security agency that are meant to be ahead of the game. Now, investigation is going to take place. According to the information, this was a report that took place on Sunday that the terrorists held a peace parley with residents in Fakama village in Faskari local government area of Kastina, where the former President Muhammadu Buhari hails from. But the defense headquarters, Abuja, the Nigerian Military High Command, has said it has launched an investigation into the video, which was on the social media. This is not a doctored video. The soldiers were literally engaging with the terrorists somewhere in Kastina, and yet the high-ranking Nigerian military are not aware. That literally means that every one of us is in danger if the Nigerian high-ranking military are not aware of such meeting, and this is happening. And in the video conversation that I listened to, it was in either Fulani or Hausa, but those are translated. It was also saying that the other person on the phone line was commanding others not to make any kind of attack because it is going to be their group that are going to be passing through by the time they finish that particular meeting. Once again, this is what happened in Nigeria, but we hope that the military will look into it as quickly as possible. Well, not everything is still being confirmed. It seems that what the senior advocate of Nigeria, Olayomi, says that Peter Obi won election on the social media, not literally on the ground. You wonder what is going to be the reaction of Peter Obi. I've not seen that yet, but as much as the election is over, there's still so much conversation going around it as well. Peter Obi was in Bangladesh for a particular small, medium-scale enterprise, but what do we know? In an interview that was granted, a former commissioner for education in Ondo State, Dr. Remi Olayomi, senior advocate of Nigeria, analyzed the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, how it will enrich the nation's jurisprudence. You are aware of the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. This is a question. What are the lessons to be learned by the candidate as Nigeria prepare for future elections? One thing I would say straight away is that whoever as a candidate intends to approach the law court or election tribunal for perceived injustice in the conduct of election or redress of perceived injustice must be prepared very well. The petitioner must be prepared even before the election to look into the possibility of ending up the race in post-election court, that is the election tribunal. That will mean that from the moment you are assigning your polling agent to the various units, you give the necessary training of what to look for and to also take note as well. So it seems that the senior advocate of Nigeria says that Peter Obi won the election on the social media. Let's take one from the non-news and then go back again to the social media this morning. Once again, terrorists displaced 7 villages in Kebbi State and Sokoto State. The Kebbi State government yesterday distributed relief materials to the victims of terrorist attack from 7 villages of Sokoto and Kebbi State. According to the news agency of Nigeria, report that the 2 villages were attacked in Kebbi and 5 in Sokoto State as well. The Commissioner for Information and Culture, Alhaji Yakubu Ahmed, said that the affected villages were on the borders of the 2 states. We are in the village on behalf of the Excellency Governor Nasir Idris to distribute relief materials to the displaced victims of terrorist attack. So you can see that the terrorist is still well groomed and operating in Nigeria. We hope the government will continue to provide adequate security, just as again you wonder where Ribadu was when there was meeting being held by terrorists in Kastina, and now they have to probe it as well. Now let's go to the social media where Nigerians are looking into Sam Larry. Sam Larry names keeps coming up as one of those that needs to be called into by the Nigerian police to the death of Mohbad. So Sam Larry is actually trending. Information that we gather says that he has actually run to Kenya, where he's hiding presently. We hope that the Kenya authority will also bring him out, just as they gave room for Nnamdi Kanu to be kidnapped and rendition. Sam Larry must return to Nigeria. Naira is also trending, and we know that when Naira is trending, it could link to so many things. It could mean to Naira Mali, which some radio stations have now said. Agidigbo FM has said that we are now going to ban all songs of Naira Mali, what is called the Malian records, on their radio station as well. Again, Hosseini Rufai on social media this morning says in 2013, 2 million Naira was just $14,000. Well, today, the same 2 million naira is just $2,000. That means you've lost $12,000 of your revenue, if you are holding 2 million naira. Well, Comrade Ile Oba says, only mad people emphasize climbing a tree from the top. I don't know how you're going to climb a tree from the top. And Madonna GCR says, and our gods of men keep on prophesying that naira will soon be a par with the dollar. Well, we don't know how soon that is going to happen. CIA at Imo for Chi, the APC members I know still get $14,000 when they exchange it for 2 million. You can tell the banter goes on and on the social media. And on that note, I'm going to come back again to you as Sanwo-Olu, the video is trending. ID Kabasa is trending as well. Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let's just play the final part of Mohbad Asked About Me. Well, he says that, in translation, that he actually cut off the leg of the devil, but it seems that some devil were able to cut up with him. We continue to pray for the family, the father, the 4-month-old baby, and the wife that he left behind. Star Radio UK, I come back now to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yeah, it's a very sad one there. May his soul rest in peace. Yes. and may the investigation unveil whatever actually caused or brought about his death. Listen at Star Radio UK. But Yomi, one interesting story that you picked up on, that was negotiating with terrorists of the military. Now, what do you think? I mean, in the conversation, do we see it as some sort of trying to bring them on board or making sense of what they are doing, that stop what you are doing because we think you are destroying the community, and therefore lay down your arms and maybe some way somehow we can bring you into the community? Is that what was going on? And somebody will say, if that was what was going on, and they will listen to them, then what was bad about that? Yomi?
Well, what was bad about it is that the Nigerian Iraqi military were not aware.
Okay.
So the intelligence was not aware, the NSA, the Nigeria. So that means that it's also, if the initiative was good in the first place, that should be coming from that end, especially the Nigerians. I mean, imagine, the MI5 having not aware that there's a security meeting going on between terrorists, in UK. And you can tell that as much as we want peace to reign in Nigeria through security, the question is, can you really confirm that these individuals are ready to surrender? What are they really fighting for? Are they fighting for the territory? Are they fighting for something? It's definitely something that they are asking for. And whatever they are asking for, can the government of Nigeria give it to them peacefully so that the peace will reign amongst Nigeria? We talked about, the villages attacked in Kebbi and Sokoto. Do you know that the Nigerian youth couples that were kidnapped on the 17th of August paid 13 million? They are still in the captivity of the terrorists as we speak to you right now. Both the driver and 9 of them, they've completed their university, but they do attend what they call the NYSC, which is like a program that you have to do as a Nigerian student. As a Nigerian, serving the country. They were not from that part of the region, but they were posted to a region now that have been so terrorized that even the foreign affairs this morning that I was checking, the FCO has continued to advise traveling to the northern part of Nigeria is no-go area. But yet, Nigerians are still told to travel from another state to attend NYSC. They've been kidnapped. The government has kept quiet. The security is not doing it as much. The question is, what are they really asking when it comes to peace of these terrorists?
Interesting. I know that Yomi has to go, but a quick one there. Now, so what are the should I call them NYSC, the students who are embarking on that? What have been their stance after the a group of them were kidnapped? What have they said? I mean, because if we see that you post that if you are in Lagos State, we know our area, this is where we are, or Ogun State, we know our area, so we know our, so post it to our own place. But if you are going to post it to other parts of the country where we know terrorists are just going about just kidnapping and doing all sorts, then if you post me there, I'll tell you face blankly that I'm not going nowhere. Are they bold enough to say that to them?
Well, that's the question. They are not bold enough, but a lot of questions have been raised, not with this particular government, even with the previous government, whether to scrap, the whole NYSC or rework out as many of states that are still a little bit safe than sending someone, to a state that is not safe, like Sokoto, Katsina, Bauchi, Zamfara, just because you're going to serve what was put together in 1973 by the same military that cannot protect Nigeria today, because the NYSC was established in 1973 by the same military. The National Youth Service Corps is a program set up by the Nigerian government during the military regime to involve Nigerian graduates in nation building and development of the country. Is this still viable in 21st century when Nigerians are kidnapped just because they want to serve in nation building, and yet the nation cannot protect them as well? Like I said, they've been kidnapped since August. 13 million have been paid. That's close to almost huge amount of money there, close to almost, with the exchange rate, you're talking about almost, thousands of pounds, but yet they've not been released. So can we say that the NYSC needs to be scrapped? This question must continue to be asked.
Yeah, now to be asked, but somebody is asking the question. We know that Boko Haram was for the Islamization of Nigeria. Now, what are the other groupings there for? What are they fighting for? Why are they embarking on that?
Well, it's all about the land grabbing. It's all about identity and culture to be changed. Yes, evidence is out there. We've had so much from the late Dr. Malafi Obadia. So many security reports in Nigeria continue to say that those that have been left to come through the Sahel. We've seen killings in the Chad area, the Mali, up to the Niger. But it seems that Nigeria is just like a base for them. And we hope that the government would do everything possibly to safeguard Nigerians. Okay, listeners, if we have to go on, we will not stop it because as we ask the questions, more questions do come in. But to every one of you on the other sister platforms watching us as well, we salute each and every one of you. But Yomi, before you go. Well, I'll leave you again, with Archie. I'll be back tomorrow for more from the outcome of the president when it comes to the United Nations General Assembly and the first address. Like I said, we'll compare the note, with the former President Muhammadu Buhari when he made his own address in 2015, 28th of September precisely.
Okay, listeners, let me say thank you very much, and thank you very much to Yomi for that wonderful work that has been done this morning. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Now 4 minutes to the top of the hour. We take a commercial break, we come back, and then we'll be looking at some of the other stories making the rounds. Wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now exactly to just a few minutes to 12 o'clock. So let me announce the lines opened and then we can go on. But this afternoon, as the flyer is being shown, we'll be having BB Clement on BB Means Business, and that will be exactement at 1:30. So we want to invite you to be part of that. Olaoluwa Guntela says, thanks sir. Archie and the White Lion, we salute you. Selolo here do have a blissful day ahead. Hey Selolo, you also have a blissful day ahead, and may Nigeria not happen to you, as we say on this platform. Okay, so now let's quickly have a look at a couple of the numbers, and then we can go on to enjoy some music, and then I'll bring what is happening in other parts of the African continent as well. The best radio, okay, my apologies there. It is the best radio in the UK. All right. So if you want to join in the conversation, 0208-133-2257 or 58, 0208-133-2257 or 58, or in the US or Canada, 001-718-303-2737, 001-718-303-2737. Text or WhatsApp at 0753-966-1744, 0753-966-1744. Our X handle is at Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. So let's enjoy this music. It is from Afriye Wuta featuring Sarkodie, and it says Go Gaga.
Hello, baby. You're looking so cute from a distance. You don't wanna be a hindrance, but baby, could you give me the one chance to sing off your brilliance? You find all you want in a million, and I want to make you mine. Smile bright like stars.
This is Starr Radio.
In
your car, at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
me dancing, go Archie, I'm sorry. No, got me singing la 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 la. Baby, got me dancing, go gaga, go gaga, go gaga. Hey yo, what do you want this chance? To my mama for instance, or go to be dinner me with big plans. I go love you in good and the bad times. But you may home come on it, if I want to tell. Can you open a me yeah? Show us the name with you. See you here. I throw you by your crab and show. My baby, if you are too much, yo, my baby, if you are too much, yo, my baby, baby, my baby, baby, you got me singing la 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 la. Baby, you got me dancing go ga, go go ga ga go ga. Baby, you got me singing la 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 la. Baby, you got me dancing go ga, go go ga ga go ga.
Just aching and beating for you, and I promise to be there. My loving is true. You my baby, my angel. I call you my boo, my baby. What else? I lift up my head and I look up to Jah to protect you and keep you as cute as you are. You didn't make out the cool, I swear say you drive me crazy.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
To me, what the so I bomb me pa. Onanti akona baby ni mo baby ni me chocho mo ocho. Onye sikaba to me mama kemo.
I'm so cute from a distance. You don't wanna be a hindrance. My baby, could you give me the one chance to sing off your brilliance?
All right then, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 3 minutes past the top of the hour. Quick commercial break from there, and then we continue. And it is still measured for all Nigerians, so stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi, my name is Bibi Clement, and I'm a global speaker in the areas of entrepreneurship and leadership. I'm also the author of the books How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, as well as Wealth Creation God's Way. Listen, the future Nigeria needs future leaders who are collaborative, financially literate, entrepreneurially savvy, and have a global outlook towards life. But most importantly, they possess a keen sense of personal integrity and social justice. PSG UK, Peace Building and Social Justice UK, are playing their part in equipping such leaders. And if you consider yourself to be such a leader and you want to contribute to the future of the Nigeria that I have described, where peace, prosperity, and social justice are no longer the exception, but indeed the everyday experience of the everyday Nigerian, then don't delay. Sign up to the next online Future Leaders Building event. The details are below. Don't delay. Do it now. I look forward to seeing you there and welcoming you. And together, we can definitely build a better Nigeria.
Okay, my sincere apologies for that. Yes, as I did say, the sound, yeah, you cannot get the sound through. Well. Yes, that was a teaser of a program that took place I think, was it the 17th or the 7th? Okay, but some other ones will be taking place during the course of the year once again. So we want you to avail yourself and keep on looking out for it, because once it comes your way, we'll be putting there. It is from Bibi Clement, one of the speakers or one of the advocates for that particular program, and she will be here this afternoon exactly at 1:30 to bring you the BB Mains Business Show that takes place every Tuesday at 1:30 and is repeated on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Okay, preceding the Property Hour show with KB Bossman. I am Archie. It is Starr Radio, okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I hope that you enjoyed that tune. That was from Wuta and featuring Sarkodia, and they were saying Go Gaga. I hope that you went Gaga, not too Gaga, but yeah. I remember back in the day when I visited Nigeria, back in the day, they had all these private TV stations, and there was one program, I've forgotten it, but there was this man in it, they call him Brother Gaga. I remember that very, very well. That was before Lady Gaga and all those, and that was the time, you know. Yes, I was a student, a little boy by the time, but I remember it. Well, listen, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. That program was known as Cock Crow at Dawn. Cock Crow at Dawn. You see, I remember it. Yeah? All right then. Starr Radio UK. Okay, let me say good morning to the Zongo man as well for responding to my message there. I'll try to link him up. We're going to be having the Zongo man one of these days on air live, and we'll be having a chat. Yes, Starr Radio. Okay, now, so when it comes to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent as well, Egyptian poet attempts suicide in prison. Now, we are deeply concerned for his health and well-being and hold Egyptian authorities fully responsible for his suicide attempt. And Libyans protest against authorities in flood-hit Derna. That is a big issue there. In that part of the world, you don't want to see massive protests like that. It comes on, and that means now hundreds of protesters rallied in Libya's disaster-hit Derna on Monday, accusing authorities of neglect after a huge flash flood devastated the coastal city and swept thousands to their deaths. Now, demonstrators gathered outside the city's Grand Mosque and chanted slogans against the parliament in East Libya and its leader, Aguila Saleh. The people want parliament to fall. Aguila is the enemy of God. The blood of martyrs is not shed in vain, and the thieves and betrayers must hang, they shouted. A statement read on behalf of the protesters urged a speedy investigation and legal action against those responsible for the disaster. They also demanded a United Nations office in Derna and the start of the city's reconstruction, plus compensation for affected residents and a probe into the current city council and previous budgets. Those who survived from the city in what's left of the city against the ones who brought death and destruction to the city. Postal analyst Anas El Gumati on X, that is formerly Twitter, under pictures of the destruction. Politicians and analysts say the chaos in Libya since the 2011 fall and killing of Muammar Gaddafi has relegated the maintenance of vital infrastructure to the background. And I've said it, they will be crying for Gaddafi. They will be crying for him, because if he were alive and he was there, he wouldn't have foreseen certain. He would have seen to it that things were maintained and more structures were built to protect people from that. Someone say, well, it's a natural disaster, it could happen to everybody. Yes, but the calamity, the death toll that we've seen wouldn't have risen to such an extent. But listeners, it's all good, or well and good. Posterity becomes the judge of it all. Starr Radio UK. Now, clashes in Port Sudan for first time since the war began. Clashes broke out on Monday evening between the Sudanese army and tribal militia in Port Sudan. It's a city which had until now spared from the war that has been raging for 5 months in Sudan. According to witnesses, there was an exchange of fire between the army and the militia led by Sheba Dara, a leader of the local Beja tribe in central Port Sudan, said a witness who resides in this coastal town of the Red Sea. Another resident reported on condition of anonymity a return to calm shortly after, with army soldiers deployed in the area following the removal of checkpoints set up placed by the militias. Now, since April 15, the war between the army led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, of his former deputy Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, has been mainly concentrated in Khartoum, the capital, and in the western region of Darfur. But Sudan, which is home of the country's only still operational airport, Port Sudan, and where the UN has established its logistics center, had until then been spared the fighting, which left thousands dead and millions displaced. Since the end of August, this city has served as a new base for the army chief after the army headquarters in Khartoum was besieged by the RSF. Now, since Port Sudan, General Burhan has made 6 trips abroad in what analysts see as a diplomatic effort to restore his image in the event of negotiations to end conflict with Daglo. Now, what are they doing? The UN Special Envoy to the Sudan for the Sudan war has said that, well, he has resigned because he thought that with everything that is going on, life that is being lost, he thinks that, there isn't much. The people are not listening in, and they decided to back out of the whole thing. But what do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Niger has strengthened position on border with Benin. It's one of the stories. A large crowd hailed soldiers as convoy passes through Gaya on September 13, Nigeria's closest city to Benin on its southern border. Cheer slogans hostile to France and the regional bloc ECOWAS can be heard. Now, since the 15-nation group has agreed to activate the standby force to intervene in Niger and restore democratic rule by force, Niamey has strengthened its position on the border. In Gawa, we are calm and relaxed, he said. That's one of the residents there. He said, over the weekend, we have already witnessed such a deployment in the past. I refer you to 1963, 1964. At the time, there were tensions between us and Benin because of the Et Island issue. So it's kind of deja vu, same country, and yet another deployment in Gaya. So let's see what happens. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, man of God, let me say massive good morning to you and thank you very much. Good afternoon. And thank you very much for joining in as well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on to Ghana. Interesting things happening, developments there. Now, a Ghanaian senior journalist and editor of the Inside newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., has narrated how a Ghanaian man who was traveling out of the country through the Koiki International Airport got his valuables confiscated by airport officials. He says that officials seized the gold ring and bracelets of the man with the excuse that Ghana was broke and his valuables were going to be used for gold for oil policy implemented by President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government. A Ghanaian man was traveling out of the country, and when he got to Koiki International Airport, they seized the gold ring and bangles he was wearing. Now, I like putting on gold rings, and now, are you going to be confiscating it because of mismanagement and we seeing things like that? Well, the KIA officials told him that the country was broke and that it needed gold to go and buy oil. He narrated. Kwesi Pratt Jr. shared this last Friday on his Facebook that he was informed of the incident by the man's sister, who is an officer of the Ghana Police Office or Service. Now I'm telling you, they seized his wedding ring. The guy's sister was the one who called me to inform me. I told her that she was telling lies and she was bringing me the seizure notice. Lo and behold, the documents were brought and truly they had seized the man's belongings. He recorded in tweet. He added that a policeman went to speak to the Bureau of National Investigation after his advice, and they admitted that the gold ring and bracelet had been seized, but till date they have not been returned. They've not returned them to the owner. Now, why are you now going around confiscating people's own properties? Now, if he has his own gold ring and he is traveling, why do you confiscate that? So if people are saying that we want to hold you accountable and responsible for whatever thing that you are doing, and we say that no, or is it employed by the police there or the whoever authority that confiscated that, the airport authority that confiscated that we should honestly? No, I really hope that is not a true story. I really it's one of those ones that we're just joking with. I really hope so. But well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Last week we had the NDC calling for the ECOWAS to talk to the EC. But the chairman for political affairs of the Convention People's Party, Kwame Jantua, has advised the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to stop the ongoing limited registration exercise if she has received an injunction on the exercise. Information that came through, I think was it over the weekend or by Monday, was of the fact that, well, or was it Friday, that the EC offices were all shut so that nobody can say that they came in to present an injunction notice to them and there was somebody there who took it. So don't they have any letter box? And haven't they heard? Are they living on the moon? So we say that they don't know what exactly even is happening on Earth. Well, now even with all the advancement in technology, you live on the moon, you can see what is happening on Earth. Well, this comes on the back of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Adukwe Mensah, confirming that she has received the injunction to hold the process. So if she has received that, then this is a different ball game. This is despite the numerous challenges that have plagued the exercise, with people traveling long distances to access the centers. Now, some individuals even have been compelled to spend the night at the centers in order to secure a spot on the voters' roll in a timely manner. Now, speaking yesterday, Mr. Jantua stated that the Electoral Commission Board is not above the laws of the country and must adhere to the court injunction. That contempt of court is the Electoral Commission above the law? You do for one, but you not do for the other? What power do you have over the court? A writ has been issued to you. The moment you read it and you look at the claim in there, you hold the process. That is, you stop. If you feel your claim or the reason why you want to continue and you can defend it, go to the court and defend it. Anybody in Ghana, even the president, if you are issued a writ to appear in court and you decide you won't, the court can arrest you, Mr. Jantua stated. He further stated that the Electoral Commission is a respected institution and must not be seen breaking the laws of the country. Are they a respected institution at all? Or because listen, I look at all these opposition parties and they making all that noise and not going far enough to actually put their foot on the ground and say that, look, this is the rule of law and we have to adhere to that. And we have Parliament sitting there and not saying that. Now, when something bad happens, I bet you they are the same people who are going to be saying that, you know what? This and that and that and that is what has happened. And what? And what? But listeners, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I bring the time now to 19 minutes past 12. We've got about another 11 minutes to bring the program to a close. So let's move on to other parts of the world. The more or the less I talk about Ghana, the better. Let's move on to other parts of the world. India has expelled a senior Canadian diplomat after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau suggested Delhi may have been involved in the murder of a Sikh separatist leader. Now, earlier, Canada's foreign minister announced an Indian diplomat was being expelled. So, in retaliation, India also decided to expel one of theirs. The escalating row centers on the murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian citizen who was shot dead outside a Sikh temple on 18th of June in the British Columbia. Now, Trudeau said Canadian intelligence were pursuing credible allegations of a link between his death and the Indian state. Now, India has firmly rejected Trudeau's allegation, calling them absurd and politically motivated. It added that Canada had long provided shelter to Khalistani terrorists and extremists who threaten India's security. Niger had publicly campaigned for Khalistan, the creation of an independent Sikh homeland in the Punjab region of India. Now, interestingly, everybody belongs to somewhere, somehow, but now amalgamation and sort of things have happened. So when some people think that, look, we think that we want to have our own way, we want to do our own thing, we were indigenous, this is what we were doing, then the ones who, let me call them, the ones who brought them together, or the ones who is controlling affairs at that time, who is holding everybody together, says that we won't allow you. We saw it here in the UK as well, but here at least there was a referendum to give the people the chance to say whether they want out or they wanted in. That's pertaining to Scotland, and the people said we wanted in, and so they remain in. Well, we know that there's lots of noises going on saying that we will try to come back to it and to say that we want out, but I don't think that is going to happen now, especially with the SNP in particular situation that they find themselves. I think they are not in a place where they can say they can organize anything of the sort. Now their claws have been some way somehow broken, or they've been clipped. Okay, their wings have been clipped there. But when you look at other countries, we'll talk about Nigeria. We'll talk about the the Biafrans. We talk about the Yorubas, and people that look, this is how we lived, and this is how we didn't want to, but people brought us together, and we think that whatever you did at the time, it's not working. We won out, and the moment somebody stands out to say we won out, because we think that we could do better by ourselves than having a whole group, then people now try to go after them and do all sorts. May his soul rest in perfect peace. But I hope that this is resolved ASAP. Okay, so it doesn't resolve. But coming to British Columbia to come and shoot the person that's outside India, you know. That is why the Indians say, well, I've got no hands in that. But what do you think about that? Okay. Azerbaijan has launched operation against Nagorno-Karabakh. Well, war and war and war. Azerbaijan's defense ministry says it has begun anti-terrorist operation in its breakaway region of Nagorno-Karabakh under Armenian control. The tensions have been high for months surrounding the ethnic Armenian enclave recognized internationally as part of Azerbaijan. See what I'm talking about? 11 Azerbaijan police and civilians have been reported killed in a mine blast and another incident. Air raid sirens have been reported in Karabakh main city, and defense officials in the breakaway region said Azerbaijani military had violated the ceasefire along the entire line of contact with missile artillery strikes. Other Karabakh representatives spoke in Armenian media of a large-scale military offensive. The two neighbors, Azerbaijan and Armenia, have gone to war twice over Nagorno-Karabakh. First in the early 1990s, after the fall of the Soviet Union, and again in 2020. Since December, Azerbaijan has mounted a de facto blockade of the only route into the enclave from Armenia, known as the Lashin Corridor. On Tuesday, the Defense Ministry in Baku accused Armenian forces of systematic shelling of army positions and said it has responded by launching local anti-terrorist activities to disarm and secure the withdrawal of formation of Armenian armed forces from our territories. Wow, interesting. What world we live in now. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. In Europe, Germany has banned neo-Nazi group Hammerskins. Germany has outlawed Hammerskins, a neo-Nazi group known for its role in organizing far-right concerts and selling racist music. The move set a clear signal against racism and anti-Semitism, Germany's interior minister said. The authorities raided the residence of 28 leading members of the group across the country. Hammerskins, founded in the US in the late 1980s, is thought to have about 130 members in Germany. The German authorities described the ban as a hard blow against organized right-wing extremism and said it was putting an end to the inhumane actions of an internationally active neo-Nazi association. Now, right-wing extremism remains the biggest extremist threat to our democracy. That's why we continue to act very decisively, said German Interior Minister Nancy Faeser. A key goal of the skinhead group was to use concerts to spread its far-right ideology, she said. Hammerskins was heavily involved in setting up neo-Nazi music labels, selling anti-Semitic records, and organizing clandestine music events. The group has, for example, been linked to a venue called Harty Bar in the western German state of Saarland, where police made arrests for the showcasing of banned symbols during far-right concert as recently as April this year. The German authorities said they had been working closely with their counterparts in the United States ahead of the ban. Now, Hammerskins was founded in Texas in 1988 and spread across the US and several other countries. It has a top-down structure with the so-called Hamaskin nation as the global umbrella of its national offshoots. According to the German authorities, Hamaskins have been active in the country since the early 1990s and was the one of the most influential far-right organizations in Europe. It was divided into 13 regional chapters that in some cases use names referring back to Nazi Germany. The chapters operated across the country in a structure similar to biker gangs. In another similarity to bikers, they reportedly required new members to complete several initiation steps through a supporting group, Crew 38, which has been also banned. The police raid targeted leaders of the chapters in 10 German states, aiming to seize assets belonging to the group. Several members of the group had license to carry weapons, German media has reported. Well, you know, at times I sat back and I was looking at events that brought about the First World War and then the Second World War, and I said it all started somewhere. Where? Germany. I'm going to see anything. So when I see such stories where I see the Nazi groups, raising its ugly heads, or people being that way, anti-Semitic and everything, then I think, what's going to happen next? Well. It's just a matter of time. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, one other story from the UK front will bring the program to a close for today. Now, warning over fuel prices as oil hits 10-month high. Now, drivers have been warned of rising fuel costs after global oil prices surged to their highest level for 10 months. Brent crude, a benchmark for price, breached $95 a barrel on Tuesday amid predictions of shorter supplies. It came as the International Energy Agency said a decision by Saudi Arabia and Russia to cut production could cause a significant supply shortfall by the end of this year. The RAC, a motoring group, RAC, warned drivers were in for a hard time at the pumps. Latest figures show UK drivers are now paying £1.55 on average per litre of petrol, with diesel going to at £1.59. Since the start of August, average petrol prices have increased by 10p per litre and diesel prices by 13p. Now, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, oil prices soared, hitting more than 120 a barrel in June last year. So is what they call them Saudi Arabia in cahoot with Russia? Because if Russia is saying, let's I will cut down on the oil production, and so that the price, it will create automatic shortage, and then the prices can shoot up so that they can have more money to fuel their war machines. Well. Listeners, a sad one and a sad day once again. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. An inquiry into mistreatment at an immigration removal center has called for a 28-day time limit for holding detainees. The public inquiry into Brook House near Gatwick Airport found a toxic culture among staff at the site. It followed a series of probes triggered by the BBC Panorama program investigation in 2017. Inquiry Chair Kate Eves recommended that the government change the law to limit detention at such centers. This is currently no maximum period detainees. At the moment, there is currently no maximum detainees, but can be held while they wait to be deported or fight for asylum. The Brook House inquiry report found it to be a place of stress and distress. The inquiry identified 19 instances over 5 months period that amounted to mistreatment. Contrary to Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which protects you from inhumane, degrading, and treatment or punishment. And the other time we had the Conservative Party, the government in power, saying that they're going to be getting out of that treaty with the European Union, and therefore they can go about doing whatever they want to do. But listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close for today. Tomorrow, God willing, we'll be bringing you another edition of the morning show. However, this afternoon exactly at 1:30, so in the next call it 59 minutes, I'll be bringing you BB Clement on BB's Means Business. So wherever you are, I salute you and I say have a top of the day. And as we saw on this platform, Nigeria not happening to you, but you know what? Keep safe. And I see you all tomorrow. It's been me, Archie, saying stay blessed and bye-bye for now.
It's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.